Dr. Jerome Corsi. Today it is Wednesday, July 31st, 2024. You can find us on X at Corsi Jerome 1. Find us on Substack, Jerome Corsi, phd.substack.com. The first story I want to cover today is this completely corrupt and ineffective, if not outright to kill Donald Trump's Secret Service. I'm sick of it. And the answers we're getting in Congress are not reassuring. So we had Ted Cruz yesterday doing a grilling of this replacement to the DEI woman whose name I refuse to even remember. And this jerk is the guy who refused to beef up Donald Trump's security details. So let's hear how Ted Cruz worked him over.
Will you commit to provide this committee in writing every written request for additional resources from the Trump campaign or the Trump detail and every response from Secret Service?
Senator, I will commit to providing responses and getting you the information that you are seeking.
May I ask you something? And who makes the decision to deny those requests? Did you make that decision?
Which requests? Are you talking about the ones that were in the Washington Post?
Yes.
So the process, sir, is that a detail will make a request for either staffing, technical assets, that is handled between the field office and the detail. It goes up to a logistics office between our
Okay, so there's a bureaucracy. Is there a decision maker?
It's not a bureaucracy, Senator.
Give me the
it's a
person
process.
that's a decision maker. Is there one?
Senator, it's a conversation. It's not just an absolute yay or nay.
So let me tell you what I believe. I believe that the Secret Service leadership made a political decision to deny these requests. And I think the Biden administration has been suffused with partisan politics. Did the same person who denied the request for additional security to President Trump also repeatedly deny the request for security to Robert F. Kennedy Jr., whose father was murdered by an assassin and whose uncle was murdered by an assassin? Did the same person make that decision?
Senator, what I will tell you is that Secret Service agents are not political.
Okay, you're not answering my question. But you know what? Leadership appointed by the president, leadership appointed by the president is political. I have a simple question, yes or no. Did the same person deny the Trump request that also denied the RFK request? That's a yes or no question.
Senator, that is not a yes or no question. One, there is a process for a candidate nominee to receive protection.
Does the buck stop anywhere? Does the buck stop anywhere?
Bipartisan process that the Hill
participates. It's a bicameral, bipartisan process. What cameral?
For a candidate,
you are not a Congress. You don't have a cameral.
Mr. Kennedy submitted a request that was referred over to the CPAC.
Okay, you're refusing to answer the question. Let me ask, because the failures on that day were catastrophic. By the way, is it true that on the day of the Butler event that Secret Service transferred agent from President Trump to the First Lady?
No, sir, that's not true.
That's been widely reported.
It's not true. There was one airport agent that actually went on the manpower request for the Trump detail. They handled the arrival at the airport.
What was the relative size of the Trump detail compared to the detail that is assigned to the President or the First Lady?
Senator, the former president travels with a full shift, just like the president.
What's so the exact same size? Is that your testimony that President Trump had the same size detail that President Biden has?
On the day of in Butler, the agents surrounding him, it is the same number of agents surrounding the president today. There is a difference between a sitting president who also not only—
Hold on, you're using president in a way that is not clear. Is it your testimony that in Butler, Pennsylvania, Donald Trump had the same number of agents protecting him that Joe Biden has at a comparable event?
I'm telling you the shift, the close protection shift surrounding. That's what you asked me, Senator, and I'm trying to answer it.
You are not answering it. Is it the same number of agents or not?
Senator, there is a difference between the sitting president of the United States.
Then what's the difference?
The difference?
2x, 3x, 5x,
National
10x?
Command Authority to launch a nuclear strike, sir.
I'm not asking.
Other assets
how many more
travel
agents?
with the president that the former president will not get.
You are refusing to answer.
But the number of Secret Service agents protecting him.
Stop interrupting me.
Go ahead,
Senator. You are
Senator.
refusing to answer clear and direct questions. I am asking the relative difference in the number of agents between those assigned to Donald Trump and those assigned to Joe Biden. I'm not asking why you assign more to Joe Biden. I'm asking, is the difference, is it 2x? Is it 3x? Is it 5x? Is it 10x?
Senator, I will get you that number so you can see it with your own eyes.
Okay, now that's again a very disrespectful Secret Service head who needs to be fired immediately and thrown out in the street and get a job. This guy is a complete jerk. His duty is to protect the President of the United States and the candidates for President of the United States. He's not doing his job. Donald Trump had a shot fired at him that hit him. That's a complete failure. This guy should have been fired on the day that happened. The entire team should have been fired on the day. The entire department should have been closed down that day that happened. It's political. They're trying to get Donald Trump killed. They have rules of engagement that they cannot. So the snipers from the Secret Service can't fire until the sniper fires. How insane is that? That's okay. We have a proposal out, and I've been publicizing it on Gateway Pundit to do a independent team to come in and work with Donald Trump for security. This is RT International. It's quite a good firm. And they will do a comprehensive job, and they will be there to point out the failures of the Secret Service and to supplement so that Donald Trump is protected. If there's been an attempt on Donald Trump's life, I'm convinced from analyzing the situation that the Secret Service was inherently and intentionally negligent in order to open up a window for a shot to be fired. The guy comes in with a ladder, climbs up on a roof. They have warning in advance that he's a suspect. They don't warn Trump. They don't postpone the event. Let the guy climb up on the roof, get a rifle. Where'd the rifle come from? Did he have Secret Service hold it for him as he went through the magnetometer so it wouldn't trigger the thing? Oh, there's a rifle. Would you hold it for me? I'm going to go up there and shoot the president, or shoot the former president. But you make sure the rifle's okay, because I'll need it when I get out through this security. Come on. It's a joke. It's not a joke. It's an intentional criminal activity to kill the president of the United States. Donald Trump is still former president. And I've had it. I think the American people have had it. And so therefore, we're going to press this proposal because the Secret Service cannot be trusted. The book I have here that I published, and Chris will show it to you, the final analysis, which is done quite well. And by the way, I'm getting ready to start publicizing it again, because what it demonstrates is that the Secret Service stood down in Jack Kennedy's assassination. So he then drove him through a kill zone of Dealey Plaza, Elm Street, where he could be shot at. And Dr. Mantic and his brilliant work, a radiologist and also a PhD in physics, has demonstrated it from the JFK X-rays, and it's indisputable forensic evidence. All three X-rays were altered to mask evidence of frontal shots. Our government was lying even in 1963. In fact, maybe that's when they decided to go rogue and become public, just kill the president, lie about it. Thank you, Alan Dulles. I hope you burn in hell. Deserve to, along with your brother, John Foster Dulles, that killed the president of the United States in open shooting in the streets of Dallas. Satan will welcome you. I'm sure he did. Okay, and shots that hit Jack Kennedy, two from the front. One that hit him in the side of the head, blew out the back of his head, threw debris from the head all over Clint Hill, the Secret Service agent who was climbing on the limousine on the left side. Secret Service knew the shots were from the front. They lied. The other one hit Jack Kennedy in the temple, went across the top of his head. A dead president. What they wanted. They wanted again. Well, if we can do anything to help prevent this, we are going to sure do it. Because, in fact, the idea of another assassination in this country is abhorrent, no matter who's assassinated. We've had enough killing, enough death. We've had enough of these monsters. Now, Chris, I want you to comment, because I think this is a critical point. And my book demonstrates with David Mantic that the Secret Service can't be trusted. They killed the president, they'll do it again. And they've already tried once. We're not talking about a hypothetical here. There's been an attempted assassination. We're talking about preventing another.
Oh, yeah. And they can actually wash their hands of it, too, because they can just say, well, we didn't kill him. But you brought up something very interesting beforehand. The rules of engagement. I did watch this Senate testimony, and there was a lot of really good stuff. Senator Kennedy on Senator Hawley, a lot of that. Cruz was kind of more. Cruz really dug into him. But what you brought up earlier was the Secret Service said it could not shoot, or let's say shoot the sniper before he took the shot. What they could have done, however, was escorted him off the premises. Remember, local law enforcement discovered this guy and did absolutely nothing, which is a point that Ronald Rowe, who's the acting Secret Service chief, was bringing up every once in a while. But think about this. If local law enforcement, and I'm sure they communicated to Secret Service, and Secret Service knew about this an hour beforehand, it would have been very simple and easy to get this guy or just escort him off of the premises, or at least away from the actual rally.
One of the many colossal failures of this operation was that the Secret Service did not establish communications with local law enforcement. They weren't on the same radio frequencies. They weren't communicating, and they weren't.
That's something I thought was interesting. It was brought up, and during one of the testimonies, I do understand the idea of having one of those lost. You really can't communicate or have communication for a lost 6-year-old running around on the same level as somebody who may be planning a bomb. I understand that, but there has to be But having said that, there still has to be some kind of way that that every member of the law enforcement, every member of law enforcement can have a certain channel, even if it requires carrying 2 devices. I mean, that makes sense, right?
There's 6 damn devices. I don't care how many they cover.
Exactly. You could work that problem out.
You've got to know what the other intelligence agencies are saying.
Right.
And if information comes up, it comes up instantly. You've got to react to it. Now, if they're okay, so get them out of there. Certainly get Donald Trump off stage. Certainly prevent him from going on stage. If you care about his security. If you don't care about his security, just let him go out there and take a shot at him.
There you go.
That shot was going to hit Donald Trump. One of those where, except for the act of God and slightly moving his head the right way, that shot was aimed at his head. He was dead.
And did they not care about the fact that this guy was also going to be shooting directly at spectators? One miss.
They don't care. They couldn't care less.
Exactly. And again, going back to this, they knew about this guy for an hour, probably even longer than that. They could have.
This guy was on the record. This guy had been watched.
They just could have gotten rid of him. Normally, they get rid of people like that.
Let's cut through all the crap.
Right.
This guy was the patsy.
Yes. Okay.
That's fair enough. He was set up. He was told. He probably didn't have a clue what he was doing. Okay. He fired 5, 6 shots. And who knows? They dropped additional cartridges there. Who knows what happened? But he didn't hit anybody. The kid was a complete screw up.
Yes.
Probably on drugs. Probably. This history we're going to find out. Just like Lee Harvey Oswald, he was CIA. Lee Harvey Oswald was in with these intelligence guys. This guy was in with BlackRock. There's all the connections. Is he UK Ultra, MK Ultra? Is he doing drugs? This guy's the patsy. He was the poor sucker they set up to kill.
Right.
They killed him.
It's not difficult for intelligence with their skills of manipulation and subterfuge to find a vulnerable kid and coerce that person into doing something like that.
Yeah, it's called Sirhan.
There you go.
Let's change subjects. Today I really had it with a lot going on in the world right now.
Right.
And I'm sick of Satan winning, and so we're done with this crap. It's going to quit.
But we need
Israel
Harding with a lead pipe and something like that to get Satan in the kneecap. That's a different.
Yeah, well, look, okay,
we'll get him.
We're going to send him back to hell. Is what we're going to do. Where he belongs.
You know what? Here's how to defeat Satan. I got it. I have it.
Yeah,
grant him Secret Service protection.
Yeah, right.
There we go. That'll work.
Yeah, well, grant him hell for permanent residence. Look, here's the deal. We see yesterday that the head of Hamas was killed in Iran. I guess they blew up his home, and also the head of Hezbollah was killed yesterday. So the Israelis are now taking the gloves off. The Israelis are saying, "We've had it after this attack from Lebanon on basically a schoolyard, killing kids." And again, Israel sees that this is now an existential threat. Hamas, Hezbollah, Iran, they're all communicating death to Israel. They're going to kill Jews. And now they think they've got a green light from the Biden administration. Certainly they got a green light from Kamala. And Kamala's got, I don't know what Kamala doesn't just come out wearing a Hamas flag dress. carrying a Hezbollah banner. She's clearly a Maoist. I'm going to get Trevor Loudon on here. He's got a great video. Has been around for years about Kamala being a Maoist. And the communists are all running the government. Obama's back there, doing his cocaine crack or whatever he's doing in his mansions, running the government, laughing at us all, and thinking he's now going to be the new. When I wrote Abomination, 2008, that was #1 bestseller. I had Abomination of Desolation in the Bible in mind. That's why I called it Abomination. I'm saying this guy's an abomination. He is a offense against God biblically. Is he Antichrist or not? I mean, that remains to be determined. But this guy's evil. He hates the United States. He was raised by Frank Marshall Davis, a communist. Frank Marshall Davis isn't his father. I don't think Obama really knows who his father is. And we still don't have a legitimate birth certificate. Birth certificate the White House produced. I worked on for 4 years with Sheriff Arpaio. We found in Hawaii the birth certificate from which Obama's was copied, and we proved through forensic analysis in laboratories worldwide that Obama's was a fake. He does not have a legitimate birth certificate. Okay, so that's record. That's fact. Mainstream media will deny that. Of course, they lie all the time. Okay, so what's being reported now in Reuters is that these two heads are gone, Hamas and Hezbollah. These are the guys who celebrated the attack when the Jews were killed and slaughtered, and that Hamas attack from the air that started all this. Gaza is being destroyed. Gaza is going to be leveled. I don't think the Gaza is going to be inhabitable by the time Israel gets finished. And now the war is most likely going to expand with Hezbollah in Lebanon, and Iran will be fanning those flames. And of course, then you've got the Revolutionary Guard, which can act up on Syria and other parts of the Middle East. So the Middle East is going rapidly into a regional war. And I don't think there's any real solution to stop it. I think it's headed that way. And I think that's just going to be now a matter of time before it escalates. There's also stories yesterday about that the Biden administration is thinking about moving nuclear weapons into Germany. This is ridiculous. More nuclear weapons in Europe only occasions the likelihood of a war that is nuclear. And these demons will, in fact, promote that. Okay, so yesterday, this coming out in Reuters, has been circulating since the beginning of July, that we are deploying nuclear weapons in Europe to deter Russia from this Jake Sullivan, this national security advisor. Who I'd fire this guy so quick. This guy was behind the Maidan revolution. He's behind the meddling in Ukraine, behind the destabilizing that caused this war. He's with Victoria Nuland. These guys are completely woke. They hate Russia because Russia's no longer communist. We'll get all the woke out of the government. We get rid of the whole government, because all these bureaucracies are penetrated by the universities. And by the way, I think the best way to deal with the universities is to end student tuition. Make the universities use their endowments if they want to give grants for tuition. Let people pay to go to the universities. Downsize the universities. Close the universities. They're just breeding grounds for communism, and they're anti-American. And I've quit watching. I haven't watched a minute of the Olympics. Didn't watch the open ceremony. Haven't watched a minute of it. And now we're going to have men in the boxing with women. Probably kill a woman. That'll be okay with them. That's fine. They don't need women. Women. These people are replacing women with transgenders. They don't need reproduction. Not when they've got abortion. Satan's harvesting souls. These guys are helping Satan harvest souls, and they're running for president with Kamala Harris, who now is being gaslit, and we're seeing how wonderful she is. And isn't she great? No, she's not great. She's yesterday saying she's going to confiscate guns. This woman is insanely communist, Maoist, and dangerous. So I think we've got now, with the Hamas leader being taken out in Iran, where I'm sure he thought he was safe. So, but the Revolutionary Guards in Iran are saying that he's been assassinated and killed. Okay, so it was evidently a attack that was targeted on his residence. Israel's good at that, in Tehran. Okay, and with him assassinated, he and the Iranian security guard were targeted at their place of residence. Well, Israel knows where they live. Israel went after them. Israel took them out. He did the same in Hezbollah. Okay, so Iran has got to realize here now Israel's coming after the leadership. Next day, I'll just go after the entire mullahs and get rid of the entire religious organization before there's nuclear war prompted by Iran. So within a span of 24 hours, Israeli Defense Forces successfully targeted two of Iran's top terrorists, one in Beirut in Lebanon and one in Tehran, because this major Hezbollah player has also been eliminated. That's major news. I don't know that you're going to hear it very many places because, again, Hamas is the darling of the left, and we're going to see now protests in, the Democratic National Convention in Chicago, Hamas in the streets. Well, that's going to be wonderful. Can hardly wait for that. And so, we're seeing the world degenerate really rapidly into chaos with nuclear war as a prospect and the assassination of Donald Trump already attempted. And if you don't think these are end times, you're crazy. This is how it looks. And it's probably not going to get better before it gets a lot worse. Now, as we look internationally, of course, the economy is a disaster. Even Elon Musk is reporting now that he's on X today and upset, rightly upset, that we have seen so many of the, increasing our national debt as we've increased it, which is ridiculous. We've increased our national debt now almost, from $20 million about 2020 to $35 million. About, that's more than a 50% increase since 2020, approximately. And the interest, the debt is accelerating at all-time highs, and no one seems to care. Just print the money, keep the stock market buoyed up and going. Okay, now I did a space yesterday on the assassination and attempt, and it's on X, and you can look at it and go to at Corsi Jerome 1. You'll see it. I pinned it at the top of my posts, so it's pretty easy to find. You'll be able to see it, and you'll be able to take a look at it very closely and listen to it. It's about an hour and a half long. We didn't have very many people participating in it. I'm still being shadow banned on X, and I gain followers and they take them away. It's ridiculous. Waste of time. This and YouTube are both wastes of time. Okay, it had 225 people listening to it. That should have had 225,000 people listening to it. But it doesn't. Okay, so I'm going to new channels, and I'm revamping again the truthcentral.com, and Chris will show my book on the Anti-Globalist Alliance. It's about to come out here, I think, very, very quickly. Let me just check and see where it's coming. I'll check on Amazon right now. And by the way, the Kennedy book is continuing to sell very well. Thank you. Please, you got to read it because, again, you're going to be shocked at how much you can learn from the Kennedy assassination about what's going on today with Donald Trump. Okay, so now if we say, let me just find out when the publication date is, and I'll get that for you. And we're going to do a lot with this Anti-Globalist Alliance. So it's the Anti-Globalist Manifesto. Okay, and it will be out. Let me see. It'll be out on August 13th. It's a War Room book. I'm going to communicate with War Room and find out how we are going to start to publicize this. But again, I'm going to make sure I get my copy on this right away so I know when it's out. So I'll pre-order it myself and make sure we are in a position to be able to switch our emphasis over to the Anti-Globalist Manifesto and the Anti-Globalist Alliance. That's going to be my operational base now from going on forward. We may even revolve the Truth Central into the anti-globalist alliance.com, which I have the website. We'll work all that out over the next little bit of time. But I'm transitioning. I'm going from analyst to much more involved operationally with programs you can participate in. And we're going to create, hopefully, a very large organization. Now, the fact that Israel has done this is a game changer. And the same thing is shaping up for Ukraine, depending upon the weaponry and whether or not the violence continues to escalate. But you're seeing that if Israel's done 2 strikes like this, Israel's making a statement. And so Israel is now ramping up the violence. And they're going to be, I think, we're going to see a much more aggressive war in the Middle East in the next few weeks. Okay, now, Europe is a mess. Great Britain evidently had 3 little kids killed in a knife attack. And with the Muslims who are now running over Europe, you're finding there's no cultural meld. This DEI is all nonsense. The Muslims attack women. They kill children. There's a lot of violence going on in Europe that's not being reported. And so, therefore, we're seeing, again, a destabilization. The middle class of the United States is being crushed. People are having a hard time meeting their monthly expenses, letting alone put food on the table. And if you think that the Obama-Kamala faction, and Biden, by the way, is now just going to slip into the night. Of course, I think at some point or other, they're going to have to remove him of the 25th Amendment. I'm confident now that they're not paying attention to him. He's deteriorating rapidly into whatever he's got, whether it's Parkinson's or dementia. I'm not sure. But you're finding increasingly the American people are tired of this. And the American people have had it. We're not going to eat bugs. We're tired of Bill Gates. Don't want the World Economic Forum. World Health Organization take their diseases and go away. We're going to, I'm sure, be hit by more pandemics. I've had this COVID. I'm trying to shake it for a month. Much more virulent than the first time. And the bird flu is coming, which is a more dangerous disease. I'm ramping up the telemedicine. We'll be talking more about all of that. But I think between now and Election Day, we're going to have several things. We're going to have pandemic, more emphasis on mail-in ballots. We'll be ramping up that pressure. We're going to be seeing that increasingly we're at a destabilized economy. And, people buying gold is a good idea right now. And silver, I'm going to do much more on that. I'm going to introduce a program on that to facilitate you getting gold and silver. I'll be doing that in the next few weeks when we get this anti-globalist alliance launched. And so, therefore, I'm seeing a dramatic shift in that we're going to have now an attempt to steal an election as one, and probably another assassination attempt. But expect that between now and November, it's going to be chaos. The chaos is going to ramp up every day. In the end, God always wins. God's going to win here too. And it's only a matter of time until God exerts his sovereignty and authority, kingdom, and Satan sent back to hell. But I'm encouraging everybody to understand that we are culpable. We didn't get rid of Roe v. Wade quickly. We got to drag on and kill millions of babies. Let God be taken out of our schools going back to the 1940s. And even the Republican Party today removed the primary principle that life is sacred, trying to compromise on abortion with LGBT. We don't have a conversation with Satan. It's send him back to hell. You don't invite him to do the opening ceremony of the Olympics, so he's DEI included. You ban him from all public presence because it's evil. Of course, when you start embracing evil, you start banning God, you start attacking Christians. And even in end days, it says we will have a great persecution of Christians, which is ongoing. In the end, God wins, but we've got to do our part, which is repent. Or God will win, but not necessarily the Republican Party, and not necessarily the Christians going to churches that are woke. I think they're all saved. No. If they are violating God's law, they've got problems. And removing that platform plank is not a good idea. So there'll be judgments of God, including against those people. And I encourage everybody saying, no, we are opposed to abortion, period. We're not killing babies. We're not killing our own life. So in the spirit of 2 Chronicles 7:14, join me in getting down on our knees and saying, God forgive us. And we'll move forward from that. This is Dr. Jerome Corsi. We'll be back tomorrow. Thank you. God bless.